Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and this is Nightline. Here are the top stories. Tanjung Ru shooting, PM assures thorough and transparent probe. And new minimum wage order to benefit 4.37 million workers. Good morning. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has assured a thorough and transparent investigation into the shooting incident involving undocumented Indonesian migrants in the waters of Tanjung Ru, Selangor last week. The Prime Minister wants the case to be resolved through legal channels without affecting the good relations between the two countries.
Indonesia adalah negara sahabat. Jadi saya ingin bagi jaminan siasatan kita akan cukup rapi, cukup telus dan tidak untuk melindungi sesiapa. Dan pagi tadi saya telah minta supaya laporan siasatan awal disampaikan ke kedutaan Indonesia.
Anwar said this during the People's Tea reception with the Prime Minister's event in conjunction with the Chinese New Year celebrations in Ipoh Perak on Friday. He stated that enforcement officers must act firmly in tackling cross-border crimes such as smuggling in the country's waters. However, they must not act beyond the law. Therefore, a transparent investigation is needed to determine the cause of the incident. Regarding the incident where a group of protesters threw eggs at the Malaysian embassy in Jakarta, Indonesia on Thursday, the Prime Minister urged Malaysians to remain calm and not retaliate to prevent the situation from escalating. Meanwhile, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto is confident Malaysia will conduct a thorough investigation into the shooting incident involving Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency (MMEA) officers that left one undocumented Indonesian migrant dead and 4 others injured. Indonesian media reported that Prabowo had discussed the matter during an official meeting with Anwar in the capital last Monday. Prabowo also reminded the people of the Republic not to be involved in illegal activities such as smuggling undocumented migrants to other countries. Last week, Deputy Minister for Protection of Indonesian Migrant Workers, Christina Ariani, said that the country urged Malaysia to take action against the officers involved if it is proven that they used excessive force. On another matter, Anwar urged the people to prioritise national development and interests without being swayed by issues that could cause division. He emphasised that unity creates a more stable and political and economic environment, ensuring that its benefits are felt by the majority of the population. Speaking at a Chinese New Year open house at the Perak Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Ipoh on Friday, the Prime Minister stated that economic prosperity has enabled the Rahmah Cash Aid STR to be increased to 13 billion ringgit this year. Additionally, civil servants received a salary increase for the first time in 12 years with an additional financial impact of 10 billion ringgit.
Kita nak pilih untuk terus ada perbezaan pendapat tergaduh atau nak fokus perpaduan kita. Dan untuk apa perpaduan kita? Untuk bangkitkan ekonomi kita. Bagaimana boleh bangkitkan ekonomi kita? Dasar ekonomi yang jelas.
Anwar added that Malaysia's stability has also gained international recognition as the country has successfully strengthened diplomatic ties with all nations, including the United States, the European Union, China and BRICS member states.
Bagi kita, siapapun, termasuk negara China, yang datang melabur, kita berikan galakkan. Yang baik dengan kita, kita lebih baik dengan mereka. Ini dasar kita.
He also said that this approach is important due to China's rise as a technological powerhouse in artificial intelligence (AI), particularly with the DeepSeek breakthrough that has shocked the world recently. At a separate event, Anwar hit out at those questioning Malaysia's plans to help rebuild Gaza. He stressed that the assistance through the Wakaf City project aims to alleviate the suffering of Gaza's residents who have been severely impacted by Zionist attacks, resulting in widespread destruction of facilities there.
Ada pula golongan yang kononnya cerdik. Pemimpin-pemimpin lama dulu ada satu dua kata, ini sekolah kita pun tak selesai, nak tolong orang lain. Ini perasaan hati manusia bagaimana ni? Ya. Kita tolong orang kampung lain. Orang boleh kata kampung kamu pun belum selesai. Tapi dalam Islam dia tidak pernah fikir begitu.
Anwar said this during the Kenduri Rakyat event held in Meru Raya, Ipoh on Friday. His comments followed criticism from former International Trade and Industry Minister Tan Sri Rafida Aziz, who stated that the nation's leaders should prioritise the needs of the people before initiating plans to rebuild Gaza. Anwar also pointed out that efforts to protect the welfare of the people in this country have never been overlooked and will continue to be carried out. On another matter, Anwar announced that the government has allocated 24 million ringgit to expedite the repair of infrastructure damaged by the floods in Sabah and Sarawak. He said that the allocation was approved due to the government's concern for the welfare and well-being of the people in these states affected by the floods. Approximately 4.37 million workers are set to benefit from the new minimum wage of 1,700 ringgit, which will take effect nationwide starting Saturday. The new policy applies to employers with 5 or more workers. In a statement on Friday, the Human Resources Ministry emphasised that all employers are required to comply with a minimum wage order. This aligns with the government's commitment to boosting the nation's economy by enhancing the people's purchasing power. Employers with fewer than 5 workers have until August this year to comply with the new minimum wage. This is to ensure they are given sufficient time to adjust their wage structures and operations. Those who fail to comply may be fined under the National Wages Consultative Council Act 2011 or Act 732. The penalties range from 1,000 to 20,000 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 5 years. The ministry also stated that the minimum wage should not be used as a benchmark for starting salaries for all workers, particularly graduates. Workers should also be paid fairly based on their skills. For the record, the previous minimum wage was set at 1,500 ringgit per month in May 2022, up from 1,200 ringgit before that. Meanwhile, the majority of industry players, including the manufacturing sector as well as small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, are prepared to implement the new minimum wage rate set by the government. The Malaysian Bumiputra Manufacturers and Services Industry Association, Pengilang, has highlighted that a higher minimum wage rate can boost the productivity of the local workforce.
Membantu mereka lah meringankan beban keluarga mereka dan juga syarikat juga akan mendapat produktiviti lah ataupun pekerja akan bekerja bersungguh-sungguh apabila mereka juga dapat dibayar gaji yang setimpal lah.
Meanwhile, the SME Association of Malaysia estimates that the new rate will increase industry players' operating costs by up to 6 billion ringgit annually.
Kebanyakan PKS telah bersedia untuk melaksanakannya. Kami faham ini akan memanfaatkan 4.3 juta pekerja Malaysia, tetapi di samping itu dia juga akan memberi manfaat kepada sekurang-kurangnya 2.5 juta pekerja asing yang ini akan menelan kos tambahan.
Now, the Malaysian Trades Union Congress, MTUC, is calling for stern action to be taken against non-compliant employers and has urged the Labour Department to intensify enforcement to ensure the new minimum wage order is adhered to.
Kita tanpa penguasaan yang tegas, ramai pekerja bersiko tidak menerima gaji minima baharu ini. Sekaligus dia akan melemahkan objektif sasaran tersebut. Jadi undang-undang tanpa penguasaan hanya akan menjadi sokot dokumen tanpa nilai.
The MTUC also hoped that the government will introduce a dignified wage policy that recognises education levels and skills in determining salary structures.
Telah berusaha untuk wujudkan muafakat nasional. Kegilatalaan orang itu jangan dilayanlah. Kita telah melihat hati budi mereka. Kita jangan dipatuk oleh ular yang sama di tempat yang sama buat kali yang kedua lah. Bersama saya Zahid Hamidi dalam podcast utama Buletin TV3 jam 10 pagi Ahad ini, 2 Februari, di semua platform media sosial Buletin TV3.
The number of flood victims in East Malaysia continues to rise, reaching 15,939 as of 8 p.m. on Friday, compared to 15,399 recorded at 4 p.m. on the same day. Sarawak has the highest number of evacuees, with 10,744 relocated to 57 temporary relief centres PPS, while Sabah has 5,195 in 33 PPS across the state. Bintulu is the worst-hit district, with 4,725 people evacuated to 6 PPS, compared to over 1,900 victims on Thursday night. 3 other districts which also saw an increase in evacuees are Siburan, Asajaya and Miri. Other districts affected are Serian, Selangau, Tatau, Kuching, Samarahan, Sebuyau, Simunjan, Subau, Kanawit, Subis and Gedong. In Sabah, Kota Marudu remains the worst affected district in the state, with 2,944 evacuees sheltered in 10 PPS. Pitas and Lahad Datu also recorded a rise in evacuees, while the number of flood victims in Kota Belud and Paitan has slightly decreased. 4 other districts also hit by the floods are Telupit, Beaufort, Beluran and Tonggot. In Melaka, a woman died after the car she was driving collided with a military truck in Masjid Tanah on Friday. The victim, 25-year-old Manisha Azlin Ishaq, was pronounced dead at the scene at the 2:24 a.m. accident. Alor Gajah Deputy District Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Azrul Muhammad said initial investigations revealed that the victim lost control of her car, causing it to veer into the opposite lane and colliding with the truck in front of Camp 96 in Pangkalan Peluru. Due to the collision, the victim suffered severe head injuries and was pinned in her vehicle. Her body was extricated by firefighters and sent to the Alor Gajah Hospital for post-mortem. The 33-year-old truck driver suffered a broken arm, while 3 other passengers were unharmed. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. In Negeri Sembilan, a couple was charged in the Port Dickson Magistrates Court on Friday with the murder of a baby girl. The accused, 19-year-old Nurul Ain Haslan, and her boyfriend, 21-year-old Muhammad Emir Irfan Hasred, nodded in understanding when the charges were read to them before Magistrate Nurul Sakinah Rosli. No plea was recorded as the case falls under the High Court's jurisdiction. The couple allegedly committed the act at a house in Teluk Kemang on January 21st. The charge framed under the Penal Code carries the death penalty or a maximum 40-year imprisonment along with 12 strokes of the cane upon conviction. The court fixed February 27th for next case mentioned. On January 22nd, both accused were remanded for 7 days to assist in the investigation regarding the concealment of birth and the death of a fully developed infant. Police detained the couple last week after being alerted by the Port Dickson Hospital about a teenager who had given birth. However, the baby was missing. The infant's body was then discovered hidden in a bag at the house with stab wounds on the baby's chest. Malaysia will continue to be a key destination for data centres due to its ample power and water resources, cost efficiency and well-developed infrastructure. According to MIDF research, the possibility of consolidating all data centres in the United States is highly questionable, given the massive energy and cooling requirements. The firm explained that strategic placement is crucial as geographically dispersed data centres improve latency, optimize bandwidth and ensure uninterrupted service. Despite concerns over restrictions imposed by the US on artificial intelligence chips, Malaysia remains a key player in the global data centre ecosystem. It is also anticipated that data centre projects in Malaysia will proceed without any major disruptions. This situation is also influenced by the need for economic and political stability, which is essential for attracting and maintaining long-term investments. Bursa Malaysia's benchmark index made a recovery on Friday. The rebound came after hitting a 5-month low on Chinese New Year's holidays due to the massive sell-down in AI-linked stocks. The FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI closed 4.23 points or 0.27% higher at 1,556.92 from Tuesday's close of 1,552.69. The local bourse and its subsidiaries were closed on Wednesday and Thursday in conjunction with the holidays. At Friday's opening, the benchmark index was 1.09 points higher at 1,553.78 and moved between 1,545.84 and 1,557.53 throughout the trading session. The upturn comes after a challenging session on Tuesday when the index hit its lowest level since September 2024 as investors offloaded shares in technology and AI-related sectors following DeepSeek's breakthrough in AI using lower-powered AI chips.
What game-changing opportunities did Malaysia seize at the World Economic Forum WEF 2025? How is Malaysia positioning itself in the global economic landscape? And what's next for Malaysia after WEF's bold economic talks? Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah sits down with the Institute of Strategic and International Studies, ISIS, only on Money Matters, this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Core inflation in Japan's capital hit 2.5% to mark the fastest annual pace in nearly a year, well exceeding the central bank's 2% target and keeping alive market expectations for further interest rate hikes. The increase in the Tokyo Core Consumer Price Index CPI, which includes volatile fresh food costs, matched a median market forecast and followed a 2.4% gain in December. The index accelerated for the third straight month, while the year-on-year rise matching a high hit in February last year. The data released on Friday follows the Bank of Japan's decision last week to raise interest rates to 0.5%, the highest since the 2008 global financial crisis, but still far below that of other major economies. Ronaldo sets yet another record. Actions from Saudi Pro League after this breather.
Kalau anak saya tu, saya tak nak dia macam dia hilang kasih sayang seorang ayah. Saya setiap hari saya doa, Ya Allah, kau panjangkan umur. Saya tak nak isteri saya jadi susah payah. Macam mana mak saya besarkan saya. Ya Allah, kau panjangkan umurku. At least keluarga saya dah ada benchmark. Diorang dah senang. Kalau ajal aku dah sampai, aku redha ya Allah. Tapi bukan sekarang.
Saya rasa itu antara persembahan awak yang terbaik sekat ini. Banyak parts yang easily boleh semput, but you didn't. And your tempo was super on spot, macam quantize. And you had to dance. And you kena menari lagi. And you antara peserta yang tak kekok bila menari dan menyanyi. Congratulations for a good show.
We're back with sports squash. The 2025 Carol Weinmuller Open. National player Rachel Arnell powered into the quarterfinals after edging out Hana Ramadan in straight sets on Thursday. The fifth seed made quick work of the world number 32 Egyptian, winning 11-6, 11-9, 11-5 in just 26 minutes. The 28-year-old Malaysian will take on world number 14 Farida Muhammad next for a place in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, two-time national champion and world number 31 Ira Azman saw her campaign come to an end after suffering a 6-11, 5-11, 5-11 defeat to world number 19 Melissa Alves of France in just 21 minutes. Still on squash, the 2025 Tournament of Champions. World number 1 Ali Farag claimed his fourth title of the competition after defeating current world champion Diego Elias in 4 games in the final on Thursday. Both players delivered an opening hour of incredible quality, with defending champion Farag clinching thrilling back-to-back tie-breaks to sit within a game of the title. The match then was brought to a swift conclusion in the fourth game when Farag wrapped up a 9-11, 12-10, 14-12, 11-1 win after 64 minutes of action. In the women's final, world number 3 Hania El Hamami clinched her first title of the tournament following a thrilling 5-game victory over fierce rival and world number 1 Nouran Gohar. The 24-year-old Egyptian completed her dream run inside the spectacular Grand Central Terminal, overturning a 7-match losing streak against Gohar to claim the title with a hard-fought 8-11, 11-8, 3-11, 11-6, 11-8 win. Moving on to football now, the Saudi Pro League. Cristiano Ronaldo scored and bagged an assist as Al Nassr beat lowly Al Raid 2-1 away on Thursday. The Portuguese skipper put the visitors ahead with the slightest of touches from a free kick in the 35th minute. The former Manchester United forward then set up Nawaf Bushal just after the break for the Saudi Arabians' first goal at the club. Al Raid were given hope by a moment of class from Amir Sayoud, who turned and curled his shot past Al Nassr's goalkeeper Bento in the 76th minute. However, Al Nassr held on until the final whistle to secure the 2-1 victory as well as their 11th win of the season. The victory also moved them up to third place in the standings, with Ronaldo becoming the first and only footballer in history to reach 700 official club victories. Washington plane crash, black boxes recovered. The details when Nightline returns.
What I like about you is your lower notes. Your lower notes, you got this constant flu punya, crooner punya sound.
Comel, penampilan memang macam AJL. Kak Ji selalu tekankan setiap penyanyi kalau boleh sebutan tu lagi jelas.
Cuman untuk ketika membawakan sebuah lagu yang fun, kita harus mencoba bikin sesimpel mungkin, tapi kita bisa enjoy bersama.
Rasai vibrasi nada rasa 10 finalis anugerah juara lagu 39 dengan mendapatkan tiket di www.wowtix.com.my atau imbas kod QR berikut. Kalau takut sold out, beli tiket sekarang. Hidupkan nada rasa di malam anugerah juara lagu 39 secara langsung di Aziata Arena, Ahad 16 Februari 9 malam, eksklusif di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton. Terangkat rasa.
Hai kawan-kawan pernah tak rasa tak selesa bila ada orang cuba sentuh badan kita? Kawan-kawan ingat tahu badan kita ni milik kita. Kalau ada orang sentuh tapi izin, korang cakap tidak. Lepas tu korang bagi tahu ibu bapa ataupun cikgu ataupun kakak dan abang, okey?
Betul tu. Ingat, tak ada orang yang boleh buat kita rasa takut dan tak selesa. Kita berhak rasa selamat dan dilindungi.
I didn't stop my dad while dia tengah bergaduh dengan kawan until end up kawan dia bunuh my dad. Umur Mary 9 tahun masa tu. Everything happened so fast until I saw dia punya kawan tikam sini dah. The last time I saw him, kami pergi hospital, di dalam icebox sudah. Maybe that's the reason why I don't want to be a nurse. Sebab dia flashback everything that happened.
We're back with news from the foreign front. Investigators in the United States have located the black boxes from the American Airlines jet that collided with a U.S. Army helicopter near Washington, D.C., killing all 67 people on board on Wednesday. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, on Friday said it recovered the flight data and cockpit voice recorders from the Bombardier CRJ-700 jet that collided with a Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter over Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. The agency stated that the recorders are being evaluated at the NTSB labs and has assured a thorough investigation into the accident with preliminary report to be issued within 30 days. In the meantime, authorities have so far recovered about 40 bodies from the Potomac River, and crews are working to pull the remains of the 2 aircraft involved in the crash, with divers aiming to recover additional components. Meanwhile, the U.S. President Donald Trump suggested without evidence on Thursday that the deadly mid-air collision of 2 aircraft in Washington was a result of the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA's) efforts to hire a more diverse and equitable workforce. Asked how he could blame diversity, equity and inclusion hiring for the crash, Trump said it was due to his common sense, stating that they needed highly skilled individuals for the complex task.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. When you have 60 planes coming in during a short period of time and they're all coming in different directions, and you're dealing with very high-level computer work and very complex computers. And one of the other things I will tell you is that the systems that were built, I was going to rebuild the entire system.
So far, the FAA did not respond to a request for comment on Trump's claims. Trump last week signed an order calling for the elimination of government diversity programs, including the ending of all federal offices and jobs related to diversity, equity and inclusion, and put all federal DEI office staff on paid leave as their offices faced closure. On another matter, Trump has reiterated his threat to impose 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico from Saturday, while leaving open the possibility that oil imports could be exempted. Speaking to the media at the White House on Thursday, Trump indicated that he may or may not exclude oil from the tariffs and would make a decision soon. He noted that this would partly depend on prices and on whether the 2 countries treat the U.S. properly. Canada alone supplied more than half of U.S. crude oil imports in 2023, with Mexico accounting for a further 11%. Trump first announced plans to impose the tariffs shortly after his election in November, casting the measures as a response to the flow of undocumented migrants and illegal drugs across the border. Israel has launched a wave of attacks on Lebanon's Bekaa Valley in its latest breach of a fragile ceasefire agreement with the Hezbollah group. The Zionist army said on Friday it struck multiple Hezbollah targets in the area near the border with Syria in the east, as tensions escalated following its extension of a recent deadline for removing its troops from the country. The military claimed its overnight attack targeted underground infrastructure for weapon production and border sites used to smuggle weapons into Lebanon. Israel was meant to withdraw from Lebanon by January 26 under a ceasefire with Hezbollah, but refused to do so, and the deadline was then extended to February 18th. In the meantime, Israel was expected to release 90 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for 3 Israelis on Saturday in the 4th hostage prisoner swap of the Gaza ceasefire. Emergency workers in Japan began building a ramp on Friday to try and reach a 74-year-old truck driver who has not been heard from since his vehicle was swallowed by a sinkhole this week. It was reported that the cavity has expanded to 40 meters across, almost the length of an Olympic swimming pool, since opening up in a city just north of Tokyo on Tuesday morning. Authorities in Yashua said the growing hole could be the result of corroded sewage pipes. Therefore, the rescue operation has been aggravated by the inner walls of the hole continuing to erode, preventing rescue workers from staying inside it for long. No communication has been had with the drivers since around midday Tuesday, with soil and other debris now covering the cabin of his lorry. Authorities in the meantime have asked 1.2 million people to cut back on showers and laundry to prevent leaking sewage from aggravating the operation. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at visuals of colourful hot air balloons dotting the cloudy sky above the Swiss alpine town of Château-d'Eau during the 45th edition of its annual festival. The 9-day celebration brings together 65 pilots from various countries. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching and stay safe.